What's up, Med Nation? Welcome to Mission of Medicine. Thank you for checking out my channel today. If you haven't already, please hit the notification bell. We have something special today. I always say this, but you know what? Today is actually really special. As you can see, I have someone here with me, Cameran.
Yes, I'm excited to be back. Ready to bring you all some new tips on some things that for you all while you're going through the process. So Med Nation, definitely want to check out this video because it's going to be a lot of keys dropped in here.
Yes, exactly. So this is a whole new segment where basically Cameran's coming on. He's dropping his advice, his tips that he has going through the process of going through an interview, how to get to an interview, how to dress appropriately for the interview, and his ins and outs of what made his process a lot more smoother as he's going through the matriculation process to medical school. So he has so much knowledge and so much keys to drop for you all. Please watch this whole entire video and all the videos that come for the segment. I hope you all like it. Please give this video a thumbs up and hit the notification bell so you can be updated. I'll see you all in the next videos. Peace.
What's up, everyone? How's it going? I'm super excited to be back on the channel. Know it's been a while, but I had graduation, then started a new gap year job, and now going through the application process and working and everything. But I'm super excited to be back. But today I'm here to talk about the medical school interview and some tips and advice that were helpful for me, and hopefully they'll be helpful for you. I remember when I got my first medical school interview. It was late one night, and I hadn't checked my email all day. And I was scrolling through my phone, looking at my emails, and I saw medical school interview in my email inbox. So then I got excited. I was yelling and super excited, and then I went, and my dad's like, what's going on? So then I told him I got a medical school interview, and he told me congratulations, and he was excited. And then I ran upstairs. My mom was sleeping, actually, and then I woke her up to let her know that I got a medical school interview. But she was excited as well and told me congratulations, I'm proud of you. So for those of you who have already gotten a medical school interview, congratulations, it's an amazing accomplishment. And then for those of you who are still working to that moment to get the medical school interview, keep working. It makes it all worth it when you can tell your family and friends you got the interview, and then it's going to be on a whole nother level when you eventually tell them that you got accepted. So keep working hard, and it's definitely going to be worth it. So like I said, today I want to talk about some medical school interview tips and advice, some things that were helpful for me. And also I want to talk about some of the resources that I use, and maybe you could tap into these resources if you think they'd be helpful for you as well. So first resource that I used was a book, and the book was called Nailing the Medical School Interview by Dr. Suzanne Miller. And in this book, she goes through and she groups the common medical school interview questions in sets. So sets about kind of why medicine, sets about research, volunteer experience, and so on. And she shows you how you can tailor your answers in order to answer any question that you can be asked. And you can kind of tweak each thing a little bit and make it direct to the question that you're asked. So I want to tap on just a couple of things that were helpful in her book, and if you like those things, you should maybe read the whole book to see if there's more good tips and advice in there. So the first thing that she talked about was the rule of three. And in the rule of three, basically what that is just an easy way for you to group your answers in order to better answer the question, and also so that your interviewer remembers what you said. Research shows that if you're in a group, if something is memorized in a group of three, you're going to remember it a lot better and a lot easier. So you obviously want your interviewer to remember you. So for example, say they ask you, why would you be a good fit for our medical school? Maybe your go-to answer would be, I'm a great leader because I've been involved in on-campus activities and events, and I've been a leader in those organizations. I'm very passionate about research and moving forward and advancing knowledge and advancing treatment to help cure patients. And the last thing might be you're interested in and passionate about service. You got involved in service projects, and you'll translate that into a career in medicine, and you'll get involved in the different service opportunities presented at that specific school. So it's an easy group of three way of organizing things and having those answers ready for those commonly asked questions. And then another major tip is that you do not want to give a basic generic answer that any pre-med person is going to give. For example, why do you want to become a doctor? Every pre-med person is interested in science and they like helping people. You don't want to give that answer because that's what everyone's going to say. You want to give something that's specific to you. Talk about your unique passions, your interests, and your experiences that have contributed to why you want to become a doctor. So in any of your answers that you ask, make sure it's specific and not a generic answer. So that takes me to the podcast that I tapped into, another resource. So this podcast is called The Pre-Med Years, and the specific episode that I watched was called 5 Most Commonly Asked Medical School Interview Questions, and how to answer them. And in that podcast, the host talks about the most commonly asked questions and how you can hit the points that you need to hit in order to best answer the question. So from experience, I can tell you that these are questions that are commonly asked. So for example, one of them, tell me about yourself. That's a question that's easy for a person to ask you in order to get to know more about you and kind of get some information on some things that they'd like to ask you about. So you definitely want to have some things that you want to touch on in that question. Another question, why do you want to become a doctor? You're here for a medical school interview after all. You want to be able to give them an answer to why you want to become a doctor. And like I said before, you want to give them a specific answer. So what I did to prepare myself for these most commonly asked questions, I wrote all of them down in a notebook. And then I jot down a couple points that were important for me that gave a personal answer to those questions. Just jot down a couple boiler points. You don't want to be word for word. You won't want to be robotic. You want to be a genuine, natural person. So just jot down a couple answers to the questions, a couple bullet points that you want to hit, and then that keeps it in your head that you can hit it and answer it when they ask you that question. So that's another way to prepare. So I would definitely recommend watching this podcast. It's free. Go on the Apple iTunes podcast app or however you listen to your podcast. Listen to those podcasts, and I would say it's super helpful. Next thing, after you've done those two preparation things, what I did was verbal practice. So the people in my office that I work with, they were gracious enough to say that they would mock interview me. So they asked me some questions, and actually they had me do it like a real interview. I knocked on the door, came in, and went through the whole thing. So that was definitely helpful. It helped me hear my answers, hear how I want to change things potentially, hear how I might be saying things that aren't the best way of describing something or an experience that I had. And overall, it's just good to hear yourself. Another way I did verbal practice was just kind of whispering the answer to myself. So there'd be times I'm in work and I was just waiting for something, and I'd kind of be whispering an answer to myself to an interview question, and people would come and look at you like, what are you doing? Are you singing? Are you just talking to yourself? And I'd be like, no, I'm practicing for my medical school interview coming up. So let them know you're not crazy, you're just practicing for your medical school interview. But that was super helpful for me. I did that at work, I did that on the plane when I was flying to interviews, and it just allowed me again to hear my answers and hear how it sounded. So I would definitely recommend that. So which brings me to interview day, right? So you wake up, you're excited, you're ready for your interview. I definitely have a couple pieces of advice for the interview day itself. Number one is you want to make sure you wake up on time and you arrive early for your medical school interview. This is important. You want to be professional, show them you're responsible. This is important in any profession, especially in medicine. So you definitely want to arrive early. Make sure you're not showing up late for that. Next piece of advice, which is something that I learned, which I haven't heard anywhere, but I learned that was super helpful for me, and that is eat something before you go to the interview. Most places that you go, they're going to have some type of continental breakfast with granola bars, coffee, things like that, fruit. But for me personally, I was talking, getting to know the other people I was interviewing with, and I only had like a granola bar. So by the time it's like we're an hour away from lunch, I was starving. My stomach was growling, and I was just ready to eat. So if you're somebody who gets hungry like me, you definitely want to make sure you have something to eat before you arrive at the interview, so that way you're not getting hungry and losing your energy when it's time for you to, when you're getting later on in the day. So I would definitely recommend getting something to eat before your interview. Next, when you arrive at the place that you're interviewing, you want to be friendly, you want to be nice, you want to smile, shake people's hands, ask them how they're doing, be a normal person. Don't be too uptight and tense that you're not, being friendly and nice to people. They want to surround their class with people who are going to be nice, friendly, they're going to enjoy being around their classmates, so you definitely want to exude that when you're at your interview. You want to shake people's hands, ask the security guard politely where you need to go if you're lost, and just, like I said, just be nice, be a kind person. And then once you arrive and you're sitting down waiting for your interview to start, get to know the people that you're interviewing with. These are potentially people who are going to be your future classmates. These are people who are going through the process as well, people who you might see along the interview trail. Get to know them, see what school they're from, what their major was, some of the things that they're interested in, some of their hobbies. Not only does it kind of prepare you for when you're about to interview with the medical school admissions committee, but also it's just fun to get to know people and kind of ease the stress a little bit. So that's another piece of advice that I would give. Get to know the people, talk with them, and learn who you're interviewing with. Next thing, so you finally move on to your interview with the medical school admissions faculty person or a student. So now, like I said, take it easy and relax. Don't get too stressed out. This is a medical school interview. Yes, it's very important, but they're just trying to get to know you. They just want to have a conversation with you. They like you on paper. They just want to see that you can have a normal conversation and what you're passionate about. So just come in, smile, shake their hand. Obviously, you want to sit up. You want to be, engaged and sitting up straight. You don't want to slouch down. But at the same time, don't be too uptense and tight and nervous. Just relax, talk to them, have a normal conversation, let them know what you're passionate about, and just answer their questions. But also, you want to make sure that you ask them some questions. You want to make sure that the school is going to be a good fit for you. So definitely the night before, you should have looked up some things that you're interested in about the school. You want to ask questions. So get to know them. Get to know the school. See if it will be a good fit. See if you can get involved in the things that you're passionate about. Because at the end of the day, throughout the entire day, it's really important to assess fit. If you were to be accepted to this medical school, could you see yourself here? Could you see yourself among the students? Could you see yourself working with the faculty members? Could you see yourself getting involved in the things that they have for you to get involved in? So you definitely want to, throughout the entire day, assess the fit and enjoy the day. You've made it here. You worked so hard for this. Enjoy the day. It's so humbling to be on your first medical school interview, walking around, seeing the school, talking to the faculty members. It's just an amazing, humbling experience, so enjoy the day. So those are my tips and advice that I would give you. I hope it was super helpful for you. If you liked the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And put in the comments if you had your interview and you think these things are helpful as well. But that's it for me. I hope it was helpful, and good luck on your interview.